All right, section 4.4, we're going to give this a shot. I've got some new tech going on. I've got my old projector. Actually, it's my dad's old projector, so I'm kind of being blinded by marker. There's a lot of word problems in this section, as I think we already talked about. There's 4 here that I want to go through one at a time, and hopefully we'll be able to get through them all. You invested money into 2 funds. Last year, the first fund paid a dividend of 9%, and a second, a dividend of 3%, and you received a total of $858. That's equation number 1. This year, the first fund paid a 10% dividend, and the second only a 1% dividend. You received a total of $846. That's your second equation. Those are your 2 equations. So you realize that what you've got is 2 chunks of money of unknown amounts. One is going into the first fund, and the other is going into the second fund. And when you multiply each of those amounts by their respective interest rates, you get the total amount of interest for the year. So equation number 1 is 9% of fund 1 plus 3% of fund 2 equals a total amount of $858. That is the first equation. Make sure you can see that all right. All right, so now the second equation then becomes 10%. And you notice that all these percents have to be written as decimals. Move the decimal 2 places over for percents. And the second one is only 1% for a total of $846. At this point, Desmos, feel free. It doesn't say to use any one way or the other. You can type these into Desmos just fine, and you're going to get a really nice answer. Those might be tricky to find those, but I think that you're probably pretty good with those. In fact, let me look real quick and see if I can open up a Desmos screen. I'm pretty sure you know how to do this, right? Oh, it's fuzzy. But yeah, you can type in 0.09x plus 0.03y equals 858, and 0.10x plus 0.01y equals 846. And now you've got to figure out where these amounts are. There they are. Look at that. And where do they intersect? Looks like about x is 8,000, y is 4,600. If you invest 8,000 into fund number 1, 4,600 into fund number 2, then you will get those dollar amounts just like that. I was getting a little nervous zooming out. I'm pretty sure that I graphed these right, but as long as you're patient enough to look around for those Desmos numbers, you should be able to find it. If you want to solve them by hand, honestly, the first thing I would do is get rid of all these decimals. Multiply everything by 100. And that will turn this into 9x plus 3y equals 85,800. 10x plus y equals 84,600. That's your new system of equations, and you can solve that however you want. All right, so that's question number 1. Let's hopefully you can pause the videos well. Like how I put little sun marks around the glare to remind me not to write there. Yeah, that's me. So here's a person has $40,000 to invest. Part of the money is to be placed in a CD paying 2% per year. The rest to be placed in corporate bonds paying 4% per year. If he wishes to obtain an overall return of 3% per year, how much should be placed in each investment? You could assume that, well, hey, 2% here, 4% there, you want 3%, that's half and half, 20,000 in each. And you'd be wrong. It doesn't quite work that way. At least I don't think it does. Pretty sure it doesn't. So I guess the question then is this. If we know, wrong color, if we know that the total amount of investment in the CD plus the total amount of money, corporate bonds, I guess this we'll call X is CD, Y is corporate bonds. We know the total amount that is in the CD and the total amount in the corporate bonds has to be 40,000, right? But the next thing is we know that we want the CD to be paid out at 2%. So 2% of this total amount combined with 4% of the money in the corporate bond needs to equal what? Well, it needs to equal a return of 3%. 3% on your total amount. So 3% of 40,000. So this ends up being your system of equations. The total amount of money needs to be 40,000. The total amount of interest earned needs to be 3% of that $40,000. You can type this directly into decimals if you want, or rewrite this, x plus y equals 40,000. Multiply everything times 100, you get 2x plus 4y equals 3 times 4 is 12 plus 4 zeros. And that becomes your new system of equations. You could double this and make it negative. I might as well just keep going on this. Negative 2x minus 2y equals negative $80,000. I just multiplied this top equation by a negative 2. Leave the bottom equation alone. 2x plus 4y equals $120,000. When you combine those together, you get 2y equals 40. Oh, I made a liar out of me. Looks like it does just work out to be $20,000 each. Rats. I was thinking of something else where average rate of speed doesn't seem to work that way, but here it does. I don't know if your question is as simple as that, then you might want to be careful. But if 20,000 is the corporate bond, that means the other 20,000 needs to be the CD. All right, so that's question number 2. Man, this video is going to be a long one. Sorry about that. Maybe if you just fast forward as you go through each of these. You can watch me scrolling. They see me scrolling. They hating. For thousands of years, gold has been considered one of the Earth's most precious metals. 100% pure gold is 24 karat. Too soft. Most jewelry is 14 karat. I think I got a 14 karat wedding band. Approximately 58%. That's because 14/24 as a fraction turned to a decimal is 0.583 repeating. If 18 karat gold is 35 and 12 is 50, how much should be used together to make a 14 karat gold bracelet weighing 450 grams? Okay, so this is called a mixture question, and it's a little bit tricky. We've got the 12 karat, the 18 karat, and the 14 karat. Those are the two metals we have to mix together to make this one right here. We don't know, and this is the amount. This is the percent gold, total gold. All right. The amount of the 12 karat gold is X. The amount of 18 karat gold is Y. The total amount of 14 karat gold is 450. So there's your first equation, x plus y equals 450. That's kind of the obvious one, right? The 12 karat gold is 58% gold. The 18 karat gold is 75% gold, which means the total gold in that x grams is 0.58x, 0.75y, and if this right here, the 14 karat, oops, I did this wrong, didn't I? Rats. That should be a 50. The 12 karat is 50%. The goal, the 14 karat, that's the 58%. And that means 58% of the 450 grams is the total amount. So that's your second equation. 0.50x plus 0.75y equals 0.58 times 450. So those are your two equations for this particular question. Solve them using whatever method you want. You've seen me do it by hand. You've seen me use Desmos. For that, you should be able to plug those things in and get a pretty good, solid answer. All right? I got one left. When a plane flies with the wind, it can travel 1,800 miles in 4 hours. When the plane flies in the opposite direction against the wind, it takes 5 hours to fly the same distance. This is a distance equals rate times time question. Distance equals rate times time. So we make a little T-chart here with, against. Rate, time, distance. The rate with, okay, so this is, the plane has a speed, and when the wind is pushing it, it's going to go faster, right? So we have the plane plus the wind, and we have the plane against the wind, right? And it looks like the time with the wind is 4 hours, and it can travel 1,880 miles. And what's flying against the wind, it takes 5 hours to fly that same distance. So you see how I've organized my stuff here. I've recognized that the plane flying with the wind is going to be helped and is faster, and the plane flying against the wind is going to be working from it. And I think that's a concept you all have. If you've flown, or maybe some of you are a private pilot, a lot of you have probably canoed in the water. You know that you can canoe pretty well on the lake, but when you get into the stream that's pushing against you, it's going to be a whole lot slower. The river current pushing you along, you're going to go faster, right? Okay, so now how does this distance equals rate times time thing work? Well, I know that this times this equals this. This times this equals this. That's all there is to it. I know that 4 times P plus W equals 1,880. And I know that 5 times P minus W equals that same distance of 1,880. That's my system of equations. I'm going to do a little, again, Desmos if you want. I'm going to do a little trick here. Just divide both sides by 4. When I divide both sides by 4, I get P plus W. 4 is 470, and P minus W, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. That would be 338 is 736, I think. 36, 37, 6. Yep. So that's my new system of equations. Look at this. It's set up just fabulously for combination. So this becomes 2P equals 846. 846 divided by 2. The plane speed is 423. If the plane speed is 423, that means the wind is going to be how much more? 47. So is that miles per hour? I think so. Miles and hours, yeah. So the plane is going 423 miles per hour. The wind is 47 miles per hour, helping it and hurting it at different times. That was a lot of stuff there. I hope those worked well for you. Feel free to rewind or pause or just email and ask me some questions, or we'll talk in class. All right, see you.